Today we're going to be addressing one of the main known problems with Mercedes Sprinters, and that is rust behind the bits of trim that run along the side of the van.
If you're new to this channel, we're James and Sarah, also known as The Whole World or Nothing.
We used to be full-time backpackers, exploring the world and writing about our travels in our blog.
And then the world changed.
We got repatriated from Peru and found ourselves back in the UK at a loose end. So we decided to do a van conversion.
Make sure you hit subscribe now so you can join us in this series as we share the highs and many lows of converting an old Mercedes Sprinter panel van into our dream home on wheels.
The reason for the rust is that these little noggins here aren't actually secured in, apart from with the plastic clips that go into the other side, so they're not sealed or anything like that. Water can get behind the actual bit of trim, and then it literally just drips into the van through the holes that these go through. So what you need to do is take off all of the trim, seal around these, put everything back on, and then hopefully that rust proofs it. They're not actually too difficult to get off. All you need is a screwdriver with a T20 bit in, because there's one bolt that holds these in, and then the plastic clips. So you need that. Take the bolt off, it's just inside here. You're probably going to need to give it a scrub with one of these beforehand, because like ours, I imagine yours will probably be caked in dirt, and this is a brand new van. And then once you've actually located that, you just unscrew it and the rest of the clips just pull off. You're probably going to need a trim tool, something like this, so that you don't scratch the vehicle. We've seen people doing them with flathead screwdrivers and stuff like that, but they're not actually the most effective tools. Get yourself one of these and you're going to be able to do it without causing any damage. I'll just show you how that's done. Where you've got lights in the trim, you're just going to need to unplug them, and they basically just pull out. There's a little clip there that you just push in, and you can pull them out like that.
And then the other thing you need to do is take all the little bits out of the van. Some of them stay in the trim, but most of ours have stayed in the van. So again, just using a little trim tool, you can just put it behind, and basically it goes in with a little clip, so when you put it on, it'll squeeze that clip together and just make it dead easy to just pop it out. I'm not really sure how you would do it without one of these without great difficulty, so yeah, pick yourself up some of these. I think they were only like a few quid, weren't they?
Yeah, about £6-7.
Yeah, about £6-7. We'll put a link in the description below. This is the inside of the van, so you can see where we've popped the trim off, the holes where the daylight's coming through, and where it's already looks like it's been leaking a bit against each of them. Obviously this is going to have our insulation in, so we need to make sure that that's as dry and watertight as possible. So we have actually got a little bit of rust forming on this side. You can see it here, that it's bubbling up a bit, and obviously the rust colour. So we're just going to file it down with a little bit of sandpaper and then cover it with some Hammerite metal paint to hopefully stop that getting any further.
Okay, we've got all of the trim washed, cleaned up. We've just painted underneath the bits of rust that were there and filed them down so that they are clean and free of the rust. And now I'm going to start putting the trim back on. We have to put a bead of silicone around here, it's a silicone adhesive, and when these push back in against the van, that's going to seal them all up so there's not going to be any water getting in at all. And fingers crossed we're not going to get that rust problem. The other thing that I've done is just cleaned all of these as well, so they've got a nice clean surface for the silicone to actually go onto, and popped them all back into the trim, because you notice that some of them came out and some of them stayed in the van, so I've put them all back into the trim, and that makes it a lot easier when you're putting it back on so that they're all in the right place.
So as well as the bolts that you've got to get from the back that are on the rear wheel arches, just here and on this side here, on the near side, on the passenger side, you'll also find one just in the door here, the sliding door, and then another one, or another two, sorry, just there that you need to take out, otherwise it's quite difficult to get the trim off without doing so. And we've got quite a lot more rust on this side as well, just all along here. So I'm going to scrape all that off and make sure that's all nice and clean and treated. After painting over the treated rust areas, we repeated exactly the same process as on the other side of the van and siliconed around all the little noggins before replacing the trim. Got no idea how this comes off, by the way.
So basically just unscrewing random bolts.
Yeah, just see if it works. Well, I've unscrewed one from here, one from here, one from here, one from here, but this is joined here. And I've undone something under there as well, so it's getting looser.
Fantastic. And this is how you do it, people. You just unscrew random things, pull off different bits, and then hope, upon hope, that you find something.
I think this is all gonna have to come off. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's clipped on under there as well.
So we think we've got to take this bit off first because there's probably a screw under there holding the corner piece in. However, that's all the strike trim that we already had off and nicely cleaned and sealed. So it's proper pain having to take it off again.
I can see them there. That's what we need to unscrew.
These two.
Yeah.
Just so hard to get out.
I've been going at this for about 20 minutes. And the problem is, that I've got the right trim tool, but it's just not solid enough. You can see that it's flexing there.
Yeah.
So it's not popping it out. These are seriously stuck in.
I've not seen any of those on the rest of the van. They're
I haven't.
New things.
New fixings.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they've decided to use these here instead of a screw or a clip. Everything else is just clipped in or screwed in. And then this seems to be the most protected piece of the entire van. Oof.
Finally got them off.
Yeah. Right tools for the job, eh?
Use an hammer.
Two holes at those big black plugs that we've just been fighting with for about half an hour go directly into that column. And also, we took off all the rest of the bumpers, but we didn't take off this bit here. And there's another fixing, which will also be a hole, which will go direct into the column. And there is an issue, like it's a known issue with Sprinters, that these are points that they actually leak from and rust from. So the idea of taking off the rest of the bumpers was to silicone all around these and make them completely waterproof and give them a proper seal. Obviously that's not got one on.
So got everything off, just getting it all cleaned down and then gonna rust treat the bits that we'd found and put silicone in any of the holes that we'd found. And what's happening now?
It's raining, and just check the weather, and it's going to be raining all day, 100% certainty of rain, and probably all night as well. So we're just going to get all of this back straight back on. We've identified the problems, we know what we're going to do, we're just going to have to start again tomorrow.
The next day, we were on a mission to get this finished, and with a little help from our nephew, whose hands you can probably just see in this shot, we removed the back and side bumpers again and got it all washed down in preparation.
We washed down all the bits of trim we'd removed and painted Hammerite on all the bits that needed it, and the external rustproofing was done.
One final bit of rust prevention advice we were given is that the side skirting has these little drainage holes that can get clogged up with mud and muck. As you can see, it's important to unclog them, otherwise your skirting can fill up with water, which will obviously lead to more rust. And that's it for this week's video, amigos. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash that thumbs up, it really helps the channel, and drop us a comment too. If you're not already subscribed, then hit that button too, and make sure you tap the little alarm bell so you get notified every time we post a new video.
Next week, we'll be installing our homemade roof rack and securing our solar panels to it. You won't want to miss out on this one, so see you then.